What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome to episode 14 of Real Amigos. Tonight we're talking about First Blood, the first in the Rambo series of films. Just a couple things right up front before we jump in. First and foremost, we are both an audio and a video podcast. If this is your first time to Real Amigos, it is just an hour-long podcast where a couple of friends get together and we talk about movies. And so we're glad that you downloaded or that you're watching. If you are watching the video, we ask that you subscribe to the channel, which you can do right down below. Just hit the subscribe button. And if you really enjoy the show, just hit that like button. That lets us know. If you're listening to your audio version, again, subscription helps. It helps us get more visibility, so we would ask you that you please subscribe as well. And then, as always, we always want to promote our Facebook group. So if you go to facebook.com and search for Real Amigos, you can find us on Facebook, and that's where we have conversations. Just for example, this week we've been talking about the call list for the new Top Gun movie, and so we actually have the call signs for the new generation of Top Gun. So that was a conversation we had this week. So you're going to be able to talk to us and kind of get that information there on the Facebook group. Real quick, just a word of note. Again, this week, if you're watching the video, we're going to apologize right up at top. We had the quality issues last week. The same way this week, just our sync is off. So the audio and the video is not matching up. If you are listening to us, obviously you don't have to worry about that. But if you're watching, it's going to look like a really crazy dubbed Chinese kung fu film. So anyway, just wanted to give you a heads up. We know it, so you don't have to leave a comment below saying, hey, all your audio is messed up. We realize that. Anyways, so that is that. We are going to roll into the show now and talk about First Blood. What's up, folks, and welcome to another episode of Real Amigos. This is episode 14, and we are here to talk about another fantastic movie with you. My name is Chris. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined always by my two co-hosts. We're going to start with Donnie because he always likes to interrupt me. So, Donnie, what's up, man? How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Oh, Lord. This is how this is going to start. Fantastic.
I'm coming to you from under the sombrero, man. You'll notice a little... We're all a little bit accessorized tonight. That's for good reason.
We are. And when he says we all, he means our other co-host, Phil. Phil, how are you?
I'm good, man. I actually watched this movie.
All right. It makes it so much better when you watch
it. Really
movies.
Does.
Yeah, just for the record, that's not a criteria to be a host on the show is to watch the movie, but we definitely encourage.
It wasn't early on, at least. But then you guys started picking more obscure movies that I haven't watched in 35 years. So
that's true. That's true.
Then I had to actually start watching them.
Speaking of
that being said,
Speaking of obscure movies, this is another movie in the long running films of movies of this show that I have not seen. So we'll talk about that as well.
Chris, your hair game is on.
You like that, huh? Well, after watching that, listen, Sylvester Stallone, his hair was killer, and my hair's it's kind of it's pretty much like that. So, I just said I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it. I almost cut out some holes in a potato sack and just wore that tonight too, but I couldn't find one because it's 2018. And
you wanted to stay warm.
And I wanted to stay.
You wanted to actually be warm.
That's true.
Those things are pretty warm.
I also didn't want my nipples to chafe. So, with that being said, I don't really want to waste a lot of time. So we're going to actually jump into the topic at hand. And tonight we are talking about the 1982 classic First Blood.
All I wanted was something to eat. But the man kept pushing, sir.
Well, you did some pushing on your own, John.
They drew first blood, not me.
Look, Johnny. Let me come in and get you the hell out of there.
They drew first blood.
They drew first blood.
Now, let's be clear, because there's a lot of confusion. This movie has no Rambo in the title.
Correct.
It is simply called First Blood.
Correct.
Based
There's
on the
a lot
novel.
Of confusion.
It is
There
based
was
on
a novel called
That's
First Blood.
right.
So this movie was released in 1982, directed by Ted Kotcheff. Starring Sylvester Stallone, Brian Dennehy, and Richard Crenna. Synopsis is that the former Green Beret John Rambo is pursued into the mountains surrounding a small town. I believe it's called Hope, wasn't it? Hope,
It was Hope.
Surrounding a small town by a tyrannical sheriff and his deputies, forcing him to survive using his combat skills, which are, by the way, considerable.
They are considerable.
And that is First Blood.
First Blood.
Rambo.
That's right. The first Rambo
The
movie.
legend
Not to be confused
begins.
with Rambo First Blood 2, which,
First Blood Part 2.
Part 2, which is useless.
Right. Which is also not to be confused with 2008-ish Rambo.
Rambo, which is just a
Just
new
by
Rambo.
itself.
Just old man Rambo is what
Which
that is.
Right.
was fantastic.
I love that movie.
Okay,
I'm not
so
gonna
hang
lie.
on. So hang on.
It was called John Rambo.
No, I
Nope,
think it
it's
was
just
just
called
called Rambo.
Rambo.
I think that,
Was it?
I think it
We
was.
saw that one together, Phil.
Let's talk about the
liked it.
sequels at the end because I do have some things to ask about that. But let's start with this movie. So I'm gonna kind of jump in here.
Let's do it.
I have never seen this movie. I had absolutely
Shocking.
no idea what this movie was about. In my mind, this movie was a war movie. I'm picturing like Platoon or Saving Private Ryan. Like that, and I start watching this movie, and it's just a guy walking through America, wherever he is, and I'm like, I have no
in
idea.
America.
I have
Right.
no idea what's
Washington.
going on. I don't know. I don't know what is happening. I texted you guys. I'm like, this is not the movie. I do not know what I'm watching.
Did you think
And-
you
You
even
are
had the
familiar
right
with-
movie?
No, I absolutely didn't. I was like, this can't
This wasn't
be.
like Phil watching Jaws 2, right? You didn't watch Rambo First Blood Part.
No. I watched the right movie. I just, in my head, because I've never seen Rambo, I just, okay, so
Have you ever seen
let me-
any Rambo?
Listen, okay, let me back up. When Rambo is mentioned, what I see in my head is red bandana, shirtless, Sylvester Stallone with a giant machine, like a saw machine gun, just blasting everything. So that
Yes.
screams to me like guerrilla warfare in the middle of the jungle, like not Terminator, like Predator style, war movie.
It's like part 2.
That's what I expected.
Rambo First Blood Part 2. That's what.
Is that what that is? Okay. So anyway,
Yeah.
Throw in some explosive arrows and you've got it.
so I was expecting a war movie. What I got was this really slow. This movie was
Slow?
awful. This movie was awful.
Awful.
I do not
This
agree
is
with you
one
at all.
of the this is one of the
you
worst
serious?
movies that
Oh, man.
I've seen. I have so many problems with this movie.
Okay, can I ask you 2 questions before we start on this? Since you said that.
Sure.
Number 1, have you ever seen any Rambo movie at all?
No Rambo movies. This was my first Rambo.
Okay, so you just have the caricature Rambo that he turned into later in your play.
And also I did get I had a plastic Bowie knife, and it had like a little compass on the it was like plastic, and it said Rambo, and it was like, but it was like that, but it was made for kids, so I could pretend stab things. I did have that, so I had that, and then I believe there was a Rambo cartoon at some point in the 80s that I watched. I could
There was.
I could
yes,
be
there
okay,
was.
so
There
I
was.
do remember that, but I've never seen none of the movies. No.
Okay.
Wow, I'm a little surprised by your awful.
Oh,
Yeah, I am
Take.
too. I actually think this might be the best one. Probably not, maybe second, but
well, I can't imagine
All
it
right,
getting
what
any worse than that. So let's jump in. So we'll start with my first.
that was only one question. I don't remember the other one.
Okay,
so
that's
go ahead.
fine. Sorry. I threw you for a loop. Let's start with my biggest problem. My biggest problem is that this entire movie should have never happened, because like I don't understand the motivation for the police officer trying to force him out of town.
Okay, yeah.
What are you talking about?
So I actually wrote that down. Here's what I actually wrote that down. And I actually liked the movie, but I did say, I wrote in my notes, the sheriff's a jerk,
Yep.
but I don't understand the cultural context either. So you got post-Vietnam War era where people are like, he alludes to it at the end, baby killers, and everybody hated these Vietnam veterans. But I don't think the sheriff really understood that he was a veteran, because I think that's his comment about the flag on the coat. Was basically, this guy, like, this is a town that respects veterans, and you're not respecting them with your coat. So I think the sheriff is like, hey pal, we don't want your kind around here. And it is, I will say this, I lived in Washington. So I get to be a little bit of a, and I've been to there's some weird places in that state where there's some small towns that are kind of like, hey, bro, they're very suspicious of strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a buddy that used to go to this one part where they could shoot automatic weapons in the quarry. And like he was doing that, and some random dudes just came out of the woods, and to the point that he was like, had his hand on his pistol because he didn't know what was going to happen. It's just some weird stuff in that state. It's kind of frontier-like. So I imagine culturally, maybe it's just kind of like, we don't want your kind, we don't want your trouble. Just let me get you through town, and you can get on your way.
Yeah, that's a good take. He was just he thought he was just some homeless drifter, and they didn't want him in the town. What's so hard to understand about that?
I just like he wasn't dressed like a homeless person. He was hitchhiking, sure, but like he didn't say anything out of line. He was very respectful when he talked to the cop. He asked if he could have something to eat. Like it wasn't like he was.
It's an image.
I don't know.
He probably smelled bad. I mean,
I don't know.
It smelled like an animal.
Whole
that's what they said.
The whole movie is rooted in this foundation that he was like, the cops wrongfully accused him, and so they started beating him. And I never there was the motive was not there for me at any point. Did I think it was believable in any city at any time, unless
you got to be kidding.
No, I mean, if he was a black guy, like that to me felt like that'd be a much more believable story, right? Like a backwater town, don't want any colored people in the area. That happens, but this dude, like, he didn't. I just don't understand the motivation for this guy as a bad guy, and so the whole movie, I literally got halfway through the movie when they're running through the mountain, and I'm like, this isn't the whole movie, is it? I thought they were gonna like team up and take down some kind of crime lord or something in the city, but the entire movie is just them trying to
It's a manhunt.
He's a Vietnam Green Beret veteran, man. That's what he did. He lived in the woods and operated in that way. That's his whole
So I get a movie like The Fugitive, right? Where The Fugitive, there is motive for the marshals to go after him, even though he's innocent. There's motive. I don't feel like there was any motive in this movie.
I don't know what you're not seeing here.
He punched a bunch of cops.
Well, yeah,
stole a motorcycle.
Sure. When we get there, but I'm talking about before that. The guy like has his nightstick in his face, like boy, you're gonna respect me, or I'm gonna break your face.
Are you serious? You don't understand these kind of people? You never met guys like this before?
I don't know. I guess not.
I've met guys like this before.
I guess not. I guess not.
Yeah,
I've met dudes that I could see doing this stuff before. We don't want you in this town. You're not welcome. You need to move on down the road. I'll even drive you through town, but keep going.
Okay, I'm not saying that I don't understand that mindset. What I'm saying is that I don't understand. Like, it does not feel like Sylvester Stallone warrants that. I mean, he's like.
Well, okay, like Phil said, they're hosing him down later. That indicates that he stunk. Like,
but they said he stinks like an animal. He smells like an animal.
He smelled like he hadn't had a bath in a while. I mean.
I don't know. Maybe they should have done a better job making him look like.
When he walked in was, talk about your sorry looking humanity.
Yeah, but see, like, I didn't get that. I thought he looked fine. He looks like every person hanging out at the mall right now.
You think, Chris, maybe he should have had a rough beard?
Something. Yeah. Or maybe earlier in that movie when he goes and sees his friend, I guess that's his friend's mom or wife or whatever that is.
If I saw you right now walking through my town, I would tell you to move on.
Well, that's because of my hair, bro. but back in the 80s, that was the hair was popular.
No, Phil's right though. You're missing the cultural context here. At 82, there was still very much a Vietnam vibe with the vets and stuff. So this is not, this is...
Okay, look, that's fine. You guys see it a different way. I'm trying to tell you, as a guy who watched it for the very first time in August of 2018, I never, ever once bought on that any of this would happen, because I could never expect that guy to be treated that way. Of course, whenever you put a nightstick in his face, of course he's going to eventually punch somebody.
Ever? Like, do you watch the news?
No, I purposely don't watch the news because it's awful.
Okay. Do you ever see these, I'm not throwing cops under the bus, but There's a lot of videos out there of.
I know,
You know,
but that's
some
what
of them very justified. Some of them not so much. This stuff happens.
Go ahead. What are you saying, Phil?
No. I was trying to. You guys were talking over each other, and I couldn't hear either of you.
No, I'm just saying. This goes this goes on in real places.
I was trying to, but I agree with you. If this, we're in, kind of the whole, this whole Black Lives Matter, time of our culture, of our society. If it was a black guy, that would have been a different story. If it was, a mentally challenged person, that would have been a different story. Like he was just a normal. He was Sylvester Stallone. He's a handsome, rugged outdoorsman.
I think normal is a stretch.
Yeah, handsome? Really?
How old is Sly at this point in his career?
He's got to be young.
Be close to, now he's
pushing
70.
Oh, yeah,
now. He was born in the 40s. So he would have been...
Was he born in the 40s?
36 years, man.
Jeez.
He's probably about 35, 34.
Yeah, so he would have been to his mid to late 30s in this movie.
Oh.
All right, let's get past Chris's issues with motive.
I did say this real quick with Chris's thing. I did say there's no way this movie gets made today.
No, not at all.
No.
Like,
not with the police. No way, man.
No, he's terrorizing this town.
Uproar.
Like the property damage alone, he's just shooting everything.
All right,
I do not understand this movie at all.
I want to point out something at the beginning.
I don't understand this movie at all.
So you did not like this movie in any way?
I mean, so we can go. No, we'll talk about.
Did you like the monologue at the end?
I couldn't understand a word he said.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
That's why I watch movies with subtitles.
That's true.
I understood everything he
said.
Right
there is why I watch movies with subtitles on.
All right, I want to point something out. Let me start. This is at the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
So the beginning of the movie is him, drifting clearly around the country, trying to find a friend from Vietnam.
Sure.
So if you notice early on, he smiles when he sees the house.
Uh-huh.
When he's on the road, he looks down, he smiles, and I made the note. That's probably the only time in the entire franchise of Rambo that he smiles. Like from then on out, it's pain and anger and just grunting and groaning and killing people. That's it.
Yeah, because he had nothing. This was the last thing he had to hold on to was his friend. Yeah, that's good.
Welcome to hope. Yeah, right. The sheriff is. So who's at fault? Is it the sheriff's fault because he's so snarky and jerky? He even makes a comment to a homeless dude, "Are you going to take a bath this week?" to one of the guys out in the street. Yeah. And then he's clearly
this
power
is the struggle
hungry.
that I do have with exactly your question is the struggle that I have with the movie. I don't know. It's almost like when what is it? An immovable force meets an
unmovable object.
An unmovable object meets an unstoppable force, or whatever it is.
That's like you got it there.
That's Brian Dennehy and Sylvester Stallone in this movie. So yes. I don't know who's at fault. Because
I'll tell you who's at fault. It's very simple. The sheriff. Just go buy the guy a cup of friggin' soup and let him just go about his own business. I swear.
Right, you're right. You're right.
But all Stallone has to do is walk on, away. I don't know. It's tricky.
I mean that is true.
You get that sense from Brian Dennehy in the tent where he's like tired of the notion that the criminals should be able to run the show, and he sees Sly as a criminal mind, like as a criminal, and so
I agree with you.
He's supposed to treat him with suspicion, and so he acted in the best interest of his town, but he is a jerk.
But look, our law is upheld by the simple premise of you are innocent until proven guilty.
Guilty of vagrancy.
There's vagrancy.
So.
Okay. He's walking.
I didn't even.
He wasn't even hitchhiking. He was just walking.
So is it just on Sly's part, on Rambo's part? Is it pure like machismo? Is it pride? Is it, hey, you're not going to treat me this way? Is that why he walks back across the bridge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or is he like legit thinking, hey man, I'm really hungry. I really just want a meal,
No,
I don't think that. I think it's just like, let's see what you're going to do.
Yeah, I think it's on principle at that point. Yeah,
it's partially Sly's fault.
So would we lay equal blame here on these guys?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, let's go back to our last movie that we did, Jaws.
Sure.
That was our last movie, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
So in that movie, Mayor Vaughn brings suffering on his town in the name of what he thinks is the town's good, right?
Sure.
This guy's the same guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Thinks he's doing the right thing for the town by pushing this guy on. But what's he doing? He's setting up Shark Week, baby. He's playing him out.
And basically, John Rambo is Jaws. Now I actually enjoy the movie now. Yeah.
He kills more people than Jaws does.
That's true. That's true.
Does he kill anybody?
Well, you know what? He doesn't kill. No, he might not kill anybody in this
I don't
movie.
think there's a body
No, he kills
count in
one
this
guy
movie.
for sure. Well,
Which
the guy in
guy?
the helicopter for sure.
I don't
Oh,
think he's guilty
but that's
of
not
art
him.
stuff.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. He's not technically.
Yeah, he doesn't
guilty
kill
of that.
anybody. He ties up all
I
those guys.
can't
Now
wait to talk about art, by the way.
he's very much Batman in the fact that he cripples and maims people for the rest of their life, but they're alive, so he's a good guy. So
He's merciful.
I could have killed all of them.
you're
He
literally
did say
gonna
that.
be eating
He
out of a
says that,
straw
right?
for the rest of your life, but I didn't kill you, so you're welcome.
I want to talk about that scene.
Which
where-
one?
In the woods when he gets all those guys.
Oh yeah.
I
Well, let's. All right.
I want to talk about art. Those are a couple things I really want to hit on. But Donnie, what were you going to say?
No. Just two things, and then we'll dive into the woods. Number one, this movie wastes no time at all, dude. This movie, once he gets out of that police car, it's on. I mean, it is quick. Like
You can't have a
boom.
problem with the pacing of this movie, Chris.
No, the pacing of this movie
No,
is fat.
I mean,
quick.
it
It's
makes
like the
absolutely
movie.
no sense, but no, the pacing's fine.
Oh, stop. And the second thing I want to point out is, does Stallone on a dirt bike seem weird to you guys? As weird as it did to me?
It was weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Yeah.
Nobody thought it was weird him riding
I
a
didn't.
dirt bike.
Yeah, it did look
I don't know
kinda
why I
weird.
thought it was bizarre, but it seemed kind of weird. All right, let's go. Let's do the
Well,
wood scene.
first
He
of all-
escapes, kicks some butt, goes in the woods.
Yeah,
What's up?
PTSD
What happened?
much?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so okay,
exactly.
so
That's what this movie's about.
Yeah,
It's
so-
about
It is,
PTSD
of
before
course,
they
let
knew
me-
what PTSD
yeah,
was.
yeah. So let me say this. I do think the movie is mostly garbage, but I do like that it is very much. It's very much dealing with like the psyche of him being broken down by the Green Berets and what he had to
Of
endure
course.
to get into war, and then what happens in war, and then losing everybody, and then coming back to a society that doesn't want you like that. Like I'm surprised that it's 1982 and they had this movie. Like, this is stuff that we're dealing with like in cinema today. Like, you get those kind of movies, and yeah, I mean, I thought it was great, and you do see him kind of break down, which I thought was really cool. So I like that they bring that aspect in, and I like that they don't make it. I mean, they make it obvious because they keep making flashbacks, and he had a mustache too in the flashbacks, which was really cool.
Oh, that mustache was super cheesy.
I know, I
man.
loved it. I thought it was great.
He looks Asian with the stash. He looks like a giant Asian guy.
I
It was
felt
really
like
weird.
the flashback scenes look like they were cut right out of Rambo, like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
Remember
I
that
have
scene
heard
where
it.
he was down in the poop?
Oh yeah.
I
It was similar.
No, when you go back and see that,
Maybe not.
You'll see. All right, Phil. What about Art? Let's talk about Art. He's the cop with the
nightstick.
guy.
Oh
Yeah.
wait,
The guy that thinks he's bad.
Art
the
gets
nightstick,
what
right?
Art deserves.
Yeah, nightstick.
the
guy.
nightstick guy. Yeah.
Okay. What about him?
Art gets everything he deserves.
Absolutely.
I
That
agree.
tool bag. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, I will say the scene, and we're jumping ahead here to his death scene, but the scene where he goes and takes the jacket off of him, and his body's like. I love that scene. That scene is so
That was
great.
magical, Chris. What you just did.
You like that?
It's
Huh?
magical.
Chris should
Pure
reenact
magic.
all the scenes in the movie. No, first of all, I mean it starts in the police station. Like this whole notion that they're gonna dry shave him with who's supposed to just lay there and take that? I do frustrate over that whole deal. Like
Yeah,
he's being
everything
tortured.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. When he's trying to get his fingerprint, and
Did you? I was just gonna bring that up. Did you notice the subtle humor in that? He kept reaching over, just quietly pulling up another paper towel.
to
The
wipe
guy
it
would
off.
pull it out and throw it away, and he would just reach over and get another one. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
Anyway, but yeah,
the water hose, the fire hose to wash him off,
Yeah.
the whole entire thing was way too extreme. I don't care what kind of backwoods sheriff department
Chris,
you are,
oh
it's
my
way
gosh,
too
are
extreme.
you crazy?
That's how I
this
see
stuff
it.
goes on all the time, dude.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes,
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you.
Maybe.
I'm
not
just talking
us.
about I'm
What
not just talking about
county
cops.
jail has a fire hose set up in it?
I don't know. Mayberry? I don't know. They probably had one.
I'm just saying, like, I mean,
That's
yeah,
how they
like,
clean
Donnie, look,
Otis.
Donnie, look, I
Exactly.
understand.
Otis is back.
Look, I understand if the police go in and they bust like a crack house and there's a guy
right.
who's like, ninja kicking all the
Whatever.
cops and like stabbing people. That's a different story. This guy literally just walked a block in town and now they're trying to beat him with a nightstick.
You're a man, Chris. You're a dude, okay? He defied this dude's authority.
Yeah, but only
And
one guy
that
though, Donnie.
does
But
not
still,
fly with small town sheriffs, man.
but one guy, the sheriff, he didn't defy everybody. Everybody else at that police station hates his guts, except for Opie.
because
David
he's
Caruso from CSI.
Right. Of all, ironically enough, right? But the point is that Teasel Will, the sheriff, he's their head guy. They listen to him. Everything he thinks, they think. I mean, pretty much across the board.
He was probably the high school quarterback of Hope High School.
Yeah. He grew.
Now he's
yeah,
the
exactly.
sheriff. Him and Art. Art was the running back.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Philip's right. They grew up in that town. They own this town. They run this town. And you're pushing his buttons, man. That dude's gonna come back to you. That's what's gonna happen.
Look, I'm
It
not.
is 1980. What? 2, 3.
82.
1982. All right.
Yeah.
You don't get the motivation, but we can't dwell on this all day.
So
I just
So
All right,
they
go
get
ahead,
in the
Phil.
woods.
Go to
They
the
get
woods.
in the woods. I
In
don't
the woods.
understand the wood. I don't understand these cops in the woods. I
Which
don't.
part?
It's first of
They
all,
seem.
it starts-
You talking about the incompetence of them,
the,
or
the sheer insanity of it all starts when the sheriff drives his car off an embankment and rolls it onto
Yeah.
its roof. Like,
I kind of love that scene though. I kind of love
liked
that,
it, but
the
it's
way that
like-
car
Well,
rolls over.
and then right after that, Stallone flips the motorcycle upside down, trying to
way
go up a hill.
Stallone. Way to go! You had a clean getaway. You wrecked
Yeah.
it. It just starts there, and from there, these cops could not be less competent.
Oh my gosh, they're the
They're
worst.
out of their
And they're
element,
running
man.
around with fully automatic weapons.
They're
Just
out of their
shooting
element.
into the
They've
dark.
okay. Two things. They've
And
never had a
everything that moves.
These guys have never had to deal with this kind of they probably never dealt with any real crime ever. Okay.
Well, they seem ready to kill for people that have never
but
pulled
why?
their guns in the line of duty.
But their buddy died though. That's why.
Yeah. That, by the way, that scene when he goes, the edit on that scene, the audio edit on that scene, when he's like, "You fly this helicopter, or I'm gonna kill you," or something
Yeah.
like. It just
Yeah,
drops
he
like
threatens it.
an octave, and it's real gravelly. You fly
It's
this
ADR.
helicopter.
It's where they record it after the
Yeah,
fact.
man. I was like,
But-
whoa, he just
Now,
turned into
okay.
a demon.
I was like a
Right.
scene out of Ghostbusters is what that.
It was exactly like that. It's like that's where I thought the movie
Are
was
you
gonna
the
go.
gatekeeper?
All of a sudden, we realize Art is a
Art is
wraith
demon-possessed.
from hell, and Brian Dennehy and Sylvester Stallone
Oh
are going
my
to team
God.
up to put a stop to it.
Exactly.
That's
I-
your movie.
look, literally until
That's
40
a
minutes
beast,
into this
man.
movie, I thought it was a team up. I had no idea that this is how it was going to happen. So
No,
All right, now on
Brian
that-
Dennehy
on
was
art-
gonna
on the
take
art
him
note-
60 rounds to the gut.
On the art note, the helicopter. When they shoot, when you're looking at that scene, you can tell that guy is in that helicopter. The actor is
Sure.
in the helicopter.
yeah,
Very next year, 1983, a very significant thing happened in Hollywood. They made a movie called Twilight Zone, the movie.
yes,
I remember.
And when they filmed it, do you guys know what happened? You know this story?
the guy
An
died,
actor-
right?
An actor named Vic Morrow and two Vietnamese kids died. The helicopter cut them in half. You can see it. It's online. It's gruesome.
Wait,
But-
they have the footage of it happening. Oh my god!
You can see it on YouTube. Yeah,
Oh,
Not
it's,
you.
gosh, wow.
Do not
It's-
YouTube that, but also YouTube that right now.
we
I've
will not
seen
be
it.
posting it next to me over here.
No, it will not be on our stream,
but we might.
it will not
We
be
might.
right there.
but it might be.
But yeah, so I think and it was pretty fascinating that this guy's in that helicopter. they're on the ground and the helicopter falls on them and wipes them out. But you have to imagine like nobody's filming in helicopters anymore. But then wait, there's Tom Cruise flying helicopters in Mission Impossible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So okay. So what's his name? Rambo. Sly. He sets up these traps.
Rambo.
And now the wood scene. I'm telling you, he's like daytime Batman is who he is. Daytime Batman with no clothes on. And he just
he had a piece of a tarp, which I put. That ain't gonna keep you warm, John.
Nope, Johnny.
I don't know
but he just starts picking them off one at a time, which I thought was great. But then you have that scene where he nails that guy with those wooden stakes to the legs, bro.
Oh yeah.
That no. That was painful.
Have you guys ever seen a movie called Southern Comfort?
Yep.
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It's great. It's like this. It's a bunch of dudes stuck in the woods with nothing but blanks in their machine guns. They take off a bunch of Cajun dudes, and they proceed to take them out one by one. It's kind of like this.
Nice.
Except
I think it came out the year before.
The Cajun dudes are winning in this fight.
Yeah. A lot.
So
Spoiler.
in that scene, Chris, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. So
Okay.
Sly's picking them off one by one, Predator style.
Yes.
He's rigging up traps. Every one of these dudes, when they get hurt, starts just screaming Will's name. Will's name.
Oh, that's right, Will.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
He's
What
the guy.
is the deal with that?
Yeah.
He's like their surrogate dad or something, man.
Yeah. Now, I will say, fast forward a little bit, Donnie, just to kind of come back, and I do get the mindset that you're coming from, with this being, kind of like the camaraderie between the scene, because we get to that when they get in the mine shaft, and you have like this guy from the National Guard, right, who works at the pharmacy.
Those guys are great.
And they, they blow the thing up, and the sheriff is like, "Well, we need a body," and he's like, "We can't do that." He's like, "Do you know I got to be at the pharmacy tomorrow?" It's just so I get it. It's a good boy
He says,
club.
"Go over there and check it." He goes, "No way, Bob. I'm not doing that." It's like, forget that. One of those guys, by the way, one of those National Guardsmen, the one who falls back on his back, is he's the guy.
I know who he is. I wrote it down.
He played the president in National Treasure.
His name is Bruce Greenwood.
Yeah, Bruce Greenwood.
He played the president in National Treasure, and he also played Captain Pike in the Star Trek 2009
That's right. He was in
remake.
Star Trek. Yeah, he's the guy that falls back and is looking up, just staring straight up.
He is credited as Guardsman number 5.
Guardsman 5. Those guys, I love those guys.
Yeah, it was funny. No, so
Weekend Warriors.
I get that they're it's a small town feel, and they're all together. I get that, and they do. They're all screaming for Will. Will is the he's the guy, and so I get that.
You know what I really love is when Troutman shows up and refers to it as Jerkwater USA. Some sheriff down here in Jerkwater USA.
Are we not going to talk about the old man?
Yeah, with the
Which
dogs.
Oh,
he
the
had
dog
no
guy.
right to shoot my babies. You sicked them on him, you weirdo.
Sly shot that Joker too, man. He shot the dude.
Like
I
right
don't know
in
if
the
that was
leg.
on purpose or
Shot
not, but
the
he did shoot him.
The old man is the only possible casualty. The old man might not have made it. We're not real
He
clear.
got
he
shot.
probably
I thought
did.
in the side. Yeah, he might have died. He was an old guy.
I think he's all right.
I just love that he's like, after getting that like that sicko laughter, and then they six the dogs on him. I think he actually said, "Go kill him."
He did. That's exactly what he says.
And then he's like, "He had no right to shoot my babies."
yeah, incorrect, sir. You are wrong.
I do like
I think he had every right.
He kills the first one, and then Will's like, oh, he's got to be out of ammo, and so then he tells the dog to go get him, and then all of a sudden you hear the knife and the dog crying. I love it. That knife is pretty great.
David Caruso says, "We're not hunting him. He's hunting us."
I said that. I said David Caruso is the only voice of reason.
He is the only literal voice of reason in
Yeah.
this entire movie.
Yeah.
He's like, guys,
By the
maybe
way-
we shouldn't mess with him. Guys,
Okay, I have
maybe we should be nicer.
Maybe we
Guys.
should. Yeah, let's just let it go, man. Leave him alone.
No,
Okay, at
we're gonna chase
42
him.
at 42 minutes 0 seconds in this movie, Sylvester Stallone has the sheriff pinned up against the tree with a knife to his throat.
Oh yeah.
And he says,
yes, please, let's talk about that.
and he says these words. He says, "Let it go, let it go."
Which
How in
is
the world
basically
is that
the
not a
inspiration for
meme?
Frozen. Like that. That's
How
where
is
they
that
got
not a
the-
meme? Absolutely. How's that not a meme? How's that not Sly singing "Let it go, let it go"?
But
We're gonna put that to some music.
flinging snowflakes. Like
Absolutely.
put Sly's face
Whatever.
on lady on
Someone
Elsa's-
please make that happen. Please, I'm begging you. All
Okay,
right,
so that
I'm
I actually had a problem with that. And I wrote this. I never understand knives being pressed against necks in movies. That knife earlier in the movie
cut paper.
sliced through paper
Uh-huh.
like
yeah.
a razor blade.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he had it pushed up against Dennehy's fat neck enough that it was like folding into the skin a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
and nothing,
Yeah.
no cut, no stitches needed here.
Agreed.
I just don't. I never. Maybe it's dulled off because he did sharpen up a bunch of sticks, but
He stabbed a couple dogs with it. I
he
mean,
did.
that, you know.
He did shed some blood with it, but I don't always understand. It happens in movies all the time. They'll have like a really sharp knife pressed right up against their
all the
like,
time. Yeah,
trachea.
I'm with you on
And
that.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Even the slightest movement by the person with the knife at their head is gonna
Yeah.
get cut.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they never do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
I made Rambo.
Colonel Troutman.
Troutman has the lines, man.
Yeah,
That's the best
Save
line
you
in the
from
movie.
you, I came
That's
to
the best
save you
line.
from him.
Yeah, the best line in the movie. God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that line.
That was
Yeah.
good.
By the way, alert, ding, 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 ding. Title of movie said in the movie, First Blood.
First Blood.
They drew First Blood.
They do. They sure
They
do.
do.
I don't think
First
we've
Blood.
had one of those yet. Have we had a title said in movies yet? I don't think so. But that's our. I think that's our first one.
Probably The Matrix.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, City Slickers. This had in City Slickers too.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they did.
Anyway,
you just a bunch
Curly
of City
called them
Slickers.
City Slickers. Why did Brian Dennehy want to stick his Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver? I don't understand that.
That would
that's
kill
a
him. That would kill him, I guess.
I just wrote, why his liver?
Maybe like the picture is his body is opened up and everything's hanging out.
Yeah.
And hey, there's your liver. I'm
Just
just
hang
gonna
it right there.
stick this on.
I
your
had
liver.
a
That's
Sheriff
gross.
of Nottingham moment. Why his liver?
Well, yeah, that's a good call.
Why the liver?
So I mean, this movie basically just turns into like a 30-minute, people trying to kill Rambo and can't. I don't do well. I'm very claustrophobic. So that scene when he gets trapped in the mine cave whatever it is, the cave system. And dude, there are some of those scenes where he's like, it's like really
The
tight.
rats.
Well, even before the rats, there's some scenes where he's like,
Oh, he's crawling up.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
as bent down as he can, and
That's when I think of those Thailand kids was like that probably when they got them out.
Whoa, worse.
I can't see. Like I watched that, and I never want to go
that
on the
was a
ground
little
for that.
creepy.
I
I
can't-
hate
yeah,
that stuff
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like.
And
There's
of course,
a certain
then the rats.
ominousness to that, because like when you're going down into a cave, have either of you, Donnie, you guys both went into a cave
Yeah,
in
of
Brazil,
course.
right?
I've
Yeah.
been in a cave in Brazil
Yeah.
with Chris. That sounds
Caves are-
weird. But
Yeah,
it's true.
that's we
Caves
weren't.
are
It wasn't
weird.
just us, for the record. It was a group of
Yeah,
people.
we were not alone. Well,
No,
have
but
you?
caves are scary, man, because
Yeah.
They
Yes.
are scary. Now, I'm not even going to ask Chris, but have you ever seen The Descent, Phil? I think we saw that together. I think
it's the one
with
where
the-
people go into that cave.
where the girls, they go down in that cave and they're
But
all
aren't
those
there
tight,
things
they're all
down there?
squeezed together.
I can't watch that
There
crap.
was- Dude, there are some super tight scenes in that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I don't like
scares
that
me.
stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
know how people do that kind of stuff. Like my thinking is when you see a tiny crack in a wall that you can
Yeah.
barely fit your head through,
Don't go
Don't
through
do
and
that.
that.
you decide to get in it, how do you know
No,
that
don't.
you're ever gonna like it's gonna
Get
open
out?
up, right?
No,
it's
I
like,
don't
what if you get
know.
stuck like that and you
Oh,
can't
stop.
inch
I can't
your way
even
back?
think about it. I can't even think about that, dude. It freaks me out thinking about it.
Yes, we've struck upon another phobia of Chris's.
I can't do that.
Hey, speaking
no.
of Chris phobias, Chris, did you have any issues with the stitching scene where Rambo's stitching his arm up while it's bleeding?
No, I don't mind
That
that.
bother you?
I don't mind that because it looked super fake.
No? Okay, all right. I thought it looked good, actually. I didn't think it looked bad at all.
He did it too fast. There's no way that you would do it that fast. So
Yeah, but I mean, the blood flow looked kind of real, I thought.
yeah, no. I mean, it looked. Yeah.
I noticed weird stuff. Did you guys notice when he kicked the guy out of the truck when he was driving back into town in the army truck?
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the stuntman smash his head on the ground?
No, that's hilarious.
It looked
No,
very painful.
That's why you pay stuntmen.
I mean,
I guess.
that was pretty late in the movie. I was probably playing
Oh,
Emoji
come
Blitz
on,
by
man.
that time.
Okay, so all right. Two things that I want to talk about. We can talk about them in order later.
Whatever.
Number one, let's talk about Stallone as an actor. What's your thoughts on that?
He's awful.
Okay,
I
bad.
disagree in this movie. I was surprised. I actually thought I was expecting him to be worse in this movie, than I remembered, and he was better than I remembered.
I thought he did. I thought this was pretty good. I thought he did pretty well in this movie.
I thought that his like monologue at the end was well acted. There was a couple of cheese moments. I didn't. This is gonna sound bad. I didn't feel like the content was very poignant. Like, it was just weird. It was like, with what? When you got no legs? Like, it was just like, is that really what you thought?
Dude, that whole when he brings
bad
that
writing.
guy up, that's a
It's,
weird.
it's
this
good
sense,
acting with bad writing.
Right? It was like there was this sense of like, this is your moment. Like, this is the scene where the movie goes, we're gonna root for Rambo. He's gonna, and we get enough of it that we do. But some of it was like, he starts out, I can't hold a job, and you're like, okay, he's building, and then he's talking about, he got pieces on me,
Yeah.
Like, it was just very like, it was
I can't take
just-
you with me. You got no legs. You got no
He
legs.
just kept on. It felt like major pain. Like, that was, what? You ain't got no legs. Like,
Oh my gosh.
and I look
my
down and
gosh.
it's still stumps. It's going real
You
fast
let-
like this.
What are you laughing at, dummy?
I
All right,
just
the
thought
other-
that the writing, and I know
No,
Sylvester
that
Stallone
part-
wrote this movie.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Well, screenplay,
or-
yes, it was
yeah.
a book.
It
Yeah.
was a book.
It
but I'm
was
just
a
saying,
book.
Like, it
I've read
just-
the book.
it went through.
I felt like the monologue was caricature. Like
It was a
like
little-
It went through 26 drafts with different writers before Sylvester Stallone penned the final draft, the final screenplay.
Yeah. Do you know who Colonel Troutman was
No.
going to be originally?
No.
It was Kirk Douglas,
Oh, I'd been in for that. That'd been great.
but they wouldn't. They wouldn't let him make changes he wanted to make, and they booted him out. So the other thing I want to talk about is the destruction of the town. Why does he destroy the town? Is it to draw attention, distraction, or is he just ticked off and says, "I'm just going to blow this place up"?
I think he's in full on war mode at that point. And so he's knocking out Transformers, he's killing the power, he's trying to create chaos. That's why I think he goes to the sporting goods store, because then when he's starting, all the bullets are blowing up. It's like Dennehy doesn't now know where he is and how to,
Right.
like, is he over there? Is he over here? I think he's in full bore war mode at that point. And you get that when Troutman's trying to talk to him and he can't even stop looking out he's not
Right.
there. He's not present.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
I guess that's my take too. I feel like that what we're getting is we're understanding, because this leads to, you know, the monologue that we just talked about, and I think what we're understanding is that he is a soldier, and like that's where he is comfortable. That's what fulfills him. That's the only life he knows. He can't hold a job. He can't be a normal person, and so when they bring war to him, it almost is like they bring him to life. And
Give him a purpose.
Yeah, and now it's no longer about, he's not trying to take out one person. He's just like, this is war. My war is now against this sheriff in this town, and I'm going to take it all. and that's
Right.
and that's kind of
So you
that
don't
was
think
my
he was
take on
being
it.
spiteful or anything? You just think it was like,
No,
I'm in
I
this
just think
mode
it's
and
I think
I'm
I
just
think
gonna-
it just switches. Yeah, it's like just going back to Jaws, right? It's like the blood gets in the water, eyes roll back white, and they just go to town. I mean that's just kind of what he
Eyes
does.
are like a doll's eyes.
doll's eyes. I can't get away from the doll's eyes. All right.
Yeah, that guy should have played Troutman.
Oh,
There you
Robert
go.
Shaw, yeah,
He was dead by then.
he should
I
play.
think that there's a few things about Donnie. Are those your things? Because
Those are my two. I got one more trivia to point out later, but I'll do it at the end.
There's a couple of things, and these are just questions and points of. Number one, the bazooka situation seems a little extreme.
That's hilarious. I know.
Like,
Talking
we're
about the
gonna-
Weekend Warriors.
It's like you get the sense that the National Guard's like, we got this thing.
Yeah, we should use it.
Might as
Well,
well
that's
shoot it.
that's kind of what they're like. They're like, hey, where's that bazooka? You get the bazooka. Yeah, let's do that.
And when they shoot it, they're like, yeah, we did it. We
You
got
absolutely get that feeling.
Yeah.
It's a toy. It really is. This is a toy for them.
Yeah.
They're never gonna, and you get that sense because the one guy's like, I got to be back at the pharmacy, and the other guy's like,
Yeah.
I just do this on the weekends. They're probably like, we're never gonna get to use these weapons
Right.
ever again.
But what I
Which-
love is
you know-
is that they cut from the sheriff saying no shooting,
I know.
and immediately
And they
cut to these
start
guys just
shoot,
blasting
letting off.
M16s across the forest.
I guess part of my problem with this whole idea though then stems from these guys are complete friggin' doofuses, and Rambo is straight up just manhandling them. At a certain point, you got to be like, these guys are out of my league. This is not even target practice for me. This is just like he is just beating the crap out of all of them.
But he doesn't kill those guys though. He shoots at them, but he knows he doesn't hit 'em.
I thought
I
they
know.
were dead.
I know.
They all stayed down.
Yeah,
like,
they did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just laid there. That was Bruce Greenwood, the guy laying on his back looking up. That was him.
But it's almost like you guys have played church league softball, right? And
A long time ago.
and you're playing and you're having a good time and you're chatting and you're kind of talking in the outfield, and then all of a sudden that one guy comes up who his whole entire life has been to this moment where he's going to be able to stand in front of his friends and family and win the game for his team because he never made it in college and he could have been a pro player but he got hurt, and that's Rambo. Like all these guys are just like, hey, oh yeah, get the bazooka, that'll be fun, and Rambo's like, he's like in a war. He's taking everything way too freaking serious. Like the
Hey,
entire
man,
time.
Shooting at him. Are you kidding?
Oh, man.
I don't
agree.
understand why he only took Art's gun and not the coat. That seems like
It was really bloody, bro. It was really bloody.
who cares?
Wait, he didn't he take the coat? Because that was the they thought that they saw him when they sent
Yeah,
the
he
dogs
took the
after
coat.
him.
Oh,
It
that's
was like
what
a
he put it-
decoy.
I thought
Yeah,
I was
yeah, it
like,
was a
why is he
decoy.
wearing the coat?
Yeah.
And I don't understand. This is a general movie gripe. I don't understand how torches in movies work.
Well, I mean,
How they're able to wrap cloth around it and burn forever without it falling
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
it's
how
like,
to do that either.
I've burned T-shirts before. They've
well,
never
I
produced that much
actually
light.
felt like that they did a good job of all the things that they did in this movie that were awful. That I thought they actually did a really good job explaining that. I mean, he basically tore strips. He soaked
did have strips that
he
were
soaked
soaked in
them. He soaked them in the kerosene, and then he just wrapped them around a couple of times. And when they catch on fire, they just stay. I actually thought that was one of the most believable things that happened.
Yeah.
There you
So
go, Phil.
help me understand this then. Okay, this is a real point. No more of the joke comedy laughs or the comedy questions. I don't understand the Colonel.
Okay.
The Colonel.
Is he like, does he care about John?
It's funny you ask that because I had the same question.
Or
as
does he
he's
just
dealing
care about
with
him as an asset? And
I-
is the sheriff right?
When Rambo hugs him at the end, there's no reaction from him at all. He's just like,
Yeah.
why are you
Okay.
touching me?
Right.
Yeah.
He is. If you watch
Yeah.
that scene, he's like,
Very cold.
what's
But
up,
I couldn't.
dude?
But even that scene, I couldn't read. Like, is he acting it as like you're saying, like there's no emotional connection? I don't care about this guy. He's just a tool, an asset. Or was Troutman for the first time coming face to face with the repercussions of what he's put these people through?
I don't think he cares about Rambo at all. The way that my take on his behavior in this movie was, you tick the guy off. The only way to get rid of him is to kill him off. You need to, and it's like, I hate to see it because we invested so much in him, but he's a crazy man. Let's kill him.
Is that what he's saying to Brian Dennehy at the end? Is he saying, look, I have an edge because he trusts me? Like, is he saying, because that's what, because the sheriff's like, where do you people come from? Is he saying like, you would, was he having almost like sympathy for Rambo in that moment? Like, you guys don't care about him.
Okay, let me ask.
That's a hard question.
Let's piggyback off of this because I haven't seen the other movies. Is this guy? Does this army guy?
Troutman.
Yeah, Troutman.
He's in part 2.
He is in part 2.
He's a prominent part of part 2. Yes.
Good guy or bad guy?
He goes in and recruits Rambo out of jail to send him on a mission.
Yeah, he sends him on a mission,
like a death mission. Like there should be no coming back.
Rescue. I think he's part of the rescue at the end too.
So this is the way that I read it. I feel like what you're saying is accurate when you say that he's just an asset. Like I feel like he's like, this is a guy that we put money into. We've trained him. We can still use him to murder people. So let us just take him out of here, and we'll I feel like they want to. I feel like in essence they want to Jason Bourne him. They just want to wipe him off of existence. All of his friends are dead. Let's just get him out of here. We'll make it go away, and then we'll send this guy to do our dirty work. And that's kind of how I read it.
That is pretty much what they do after that. So I think you're right.
Okay.
I mean,
so that's kind of what
that's how 2 and 3 play out.
Okay.
I don't remember 3 at all.
He goes to Afghanistan in part 3, and
he rides the horse,
gunships, and all that stuff.
There's Russians there, right?
Yeah, the Russian. Yeah, he's against.
It would have been the Russian-Afghanistan conflict.
Yeah, of course. Everybody's familiar with that.
It was a 10-year war in Afghanistan where Russia got their butts beat by a bunch of tribesmen on horses.
All right,
you should know your history, Chris, because the only reason
should.
the Afghanis had guns to fight us during the Desert Wars was because we gave them to fight the Russians in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
So,
very nice.
That is exactly right. All right, here's my trivia for the end here.
Let's hear it.
They filmed, I've seen it, it's on the extras on the Blu-ray. At the end of the movie, in the book, Rambo dies. Yes. And they filmed that scene. He gives Troutman the pistol, and he tells him, he says, shoot me. And Troutman won't do it. He won't pull the trigger, so Rambo pulls the trigger for him and kills himself. They filmed it. That scene exists.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, kills himself at the end. Imagine that. Imagine if they killed Rambo off after First Blood. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, because that was in the early 80s when they didn't really know how to bring characters back with prequels. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true, yeah. That was really
we lost that whole storyline. Crap.
Yeah,
He'll have a twin.
It was interesting to watch him watch Rambo die, though. So
my favorite fact from this movie is that the original cut of this movie. So the cut that we watched was 93 minutes, which felt like 4 days.
Come on.
The original cut of this movie was over 3 hours long. I would literally drive wood stakes into my own legs if I had to watch a 3-hour cut of this movie. I would rent a helicopter and jump out of it if I had to do that.
I'm curious if either of you in your research know what kind of budget this movie operated on. Is this considered a low budget movie?
I want to say I did look at it. I want to say it went over budget. I think it was budgeted at around 10 million, and I think it ended up going like 17 million. They did get they were delayed, which actually delayed the start of Rocky 3 because this movie was delayed in production. But
it made a lot of money though.
Yeah, it made a lot of money. Yeah. But I think the budget was 17 million. But I mean, 17 million is a lot of money in 1982.
Yeah, it is pretty significant.
No, I just asked because I felt like the effects were okay.
Yeah.
The pyrotechnics at the end weren't great. You could see the torches burning in the cars, and like they weren't amazing. The sound effects weren't amazing.
Right.
That's why I asked if it was kind of a sleeper or if it was considered a big budget movie.
Go back to 1981 and watch when Raiders of the Lost Ark, when the truck flips over and you can see the mechanism top, bottom.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
That movie was flawless. Yeah. You shut your mouth. Okay. We started a new thing.
I do like that they integrated a little slow-mo as he was running through the barricade. Really unnecessary guy just going. It was like, you guys didn't really need the slow-mo there. But
man, I love it.
Anyway, so yeah, it was a good. I actually thought it was good, Chris. So I'm gonna go on record as telling you, and we'll rate it in a minute, I'm sure. But I'm gonna go on record as saying I disagree with Chris. I did not think it was a bad movie.
I like First Blood. I think it's a good movie.
All right, let's do this.
I do wish we had had a better monologue at the end, and it kind of would have been cool to see it end in Rambo's death, which I think it would have these days.
True.
Maybe.
True. All right,
so come back from the dead in part 2.
Let's do this. We introduced a new thing in Jaws that we had fun with, which is where I go and find bad reviews for the good movies that we do. And so I found 2 today, and we're gonna let Phil read them for us real quick, and we'll just kind of talk, and then we'll review the movies and be on our way. So Phil, go ahead and take it away. These are 1-star reviews that I found on IMDb. They're user reviews, so based on user ratings.
Write them? Did you write them?
No. I thought about writing. Okay. I thought about writing one after I read these, but yeah, here you go. Okay, Phil, take it away.
All right, so our first review comes the title of it being horrible film from the reviewer's name, Hater of Crap. Hater of Crap. This is from July 14, 2011. Personally, I found all these Rambo flicks to be pathetic, boring, and worthless. All of them.
This is my kind of guy.
I disagree. All of them weren't bad, but that's fine. We'll continue. This was the first installment of this pathetic franchise. And it's also one of the worst movies ever made. I love the hyperbole that
I know.
Exacted upon the
This
internet.
is exactly how I talk in everything that I say. That's why I love
the worst movie ever made. Being overrated, boring, cliched. He goes on in parentheses to say, even for the time where this was made. And it is also a very ugly film. I don't know what that means. Awful movie. This movie is awful beyond belief, and it is one of the most overrated movies ever made. There isn't anything good about this movie. It was terrible, tedious, and irritating from beginning to end. I hate this movie. He goes on to say, I think that it was the biggest disgrace for the action genre, having a very negative influence on it.
Wow.
And then personally, I think it's the worst war movie ever made.
It's not a war movie.
It's not a war movie.
Which is where
no wonder he thinks it's the worst war movie. It's not a war movie.
He's like, sure you didn't write this, Chris?
It sounds a lot like what I said.
It sounds a lot like everything you've said so far.
It basically sounds like I've plagiarized this at the beginning of our show.
I don't think Chris watched the movie. I think he just read this review.
Yeah, I do think this is funny. No, you'll get my review in a little while. All right, we got one more.
All right, number 2. The title of this review, It's a Long Road, ... for Somebody, by Matthew_Capitano, August 13th, 2014. He gives us a recap. Lazy drifter stumbles into a small town and refuses to comply when a kind-hearted sheriff asks him to leave.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna interject here. Why is he a lazy drifter? A, lazy? How is he lazy?
Yeah,
and B, what movie did this Joker watch? Kind-hearted sheriff? Holy
I think
cow,
this may have been written by Brian Dennehy's character.
I feel bad for Matthew Capitano's upbringing if he thought the sheriff was kind-hearted.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He goes on to say, I love this, despite the excellent skill and training of the police department.
this guy's got to be a cop.
Not watch this movie.
He's got to be a police officer.
Yeah,
he did not
excellent
watch
training. Those guys were bozos in the wilderness. Rambo, and he goes on to call him Schmuck Stallone,
oh, that's
soon goes on a rampage and destroys the city, including Transformers, so all the residents in the area have to live without heat or electricity in December.
Oh my god.
I love
Rambo
this.
will surrender, but not before he gives a 5-minute rambling, incoherent dissertation about all the Flinch glees, those are his friends, he lost in the war and how he can't hold a job for 8 hours. That's 8 hours. It's a long road, but someday the nice citizens of this once quiet town will get their lives back on track now that Rambo has been put away. Until the sequel.
Now, what
Oh
I
my
love
God.
about this is this guy is 100% for the sheriff and the town. Like,
Yeah.
he sees this movie as 100% black and white, where Rambo is the bad guy. Rambo
He's the bad guy.
is Jaws, and he is just decimating this town for no reason.
Look, I'm not going to spend a lot more time. I do have a hard time with that part of that portion of this movie.
where he
It's
ruins everything.
this all goes away if you just keep going.
Sure.
Just go to the next
And it
town.
also all goes away if you buy the guy a grilled cheese sandwich. So,
Or if you just kill the sheriff and take over the town yourself.
That-
Also goes away.
you know what? I would have watched that movie too. That'd have been much better than what we watched. All right, so that is that's actually, it brings us to the end of our show. You've heard some 1-star reviews, but as always, we're going to rate the show ourselves. Put our seal of approval on it. So, Phil, how about we come over to you? Why don't you give us your rating for First Blood?
I'm going to give it 63 spilled cans of black powder.
Nice.
I like it. I'll go next. Well, this was Donnie's
Isn't there
kind of choice. So
I
what are you
love,
gonna
I'm
say?
sorry, when you said that, I love in movies where they pour black powder on the ground.
Yeah.
There's something satisfying about that. I don't know why. It's weird.
I think you like it because you grew up watching Looney Tunes. And that's what they do in
Maybe.
every
Maybe
Looney
that's
Tune.
what it
Every Looney
is.
Tune cartoon is a trail.
Yeah, but here's my only issue with that particular scene is you're in the sporting goods store. You don't have to ignite a pile of black powder with an
no.
M60. You
No.
could have just found a lighter.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
But-
Yeah.
But
Or-
not if you're
But he's
Rambo.
like-
Not if you're Rambo. All right, for
this
me,
movie brought the M60 into.
This is the one. That's right.
We didn't know what that was.
that's right. Yeah. Oh, and the Bowie knife. So both of those things.
Yeah, we called it a survival knife.
Survival knife. Where's it at, Donnie?
Which I have one.
See it. Let's see.
I used to have 3 of these. I only have 1 now.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Chris.
All right. So for me, I would give this a 27 fingerprint napkins.
Oh,
And
That's
look,
how
I love
many
that
were used
scene.
in the movie.
I will say this.
I love that scene.
I will say this. Even after talking about this now for an hour, I absolutely do not understand or support the motive of this movie at all. It does not make sense. But that being said, I was still captivated by watching Sylvester Stallone just straight up murder people. It's the reason that I like
He
Jaws.
didn't
is 'cause
murder
he just murders
anybody.
people. And so I'm actually, I will say this, I'm really interested in watching the rest of the movies now because I am invested
Do
in the
it.
character, even though I think this movie was garbage.
All right.
Listen,
All right, Donnie.
I will say this. You can watch 2 and 3 if you want. That's fine. You're going to be like, meh, by the time you get to the end of 3 and hesitate at watching Rambo. Rambo is I think it's the best resurrection of a dated character.
It's amazing. But,
It's a really good movie.
All right.
but let's put a warning on that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's really
It is one of the
Very.
most insanely violent movies
Yes.
So
that
gory.
I'm ready.
that I have ever seen. And I've seen, Phil will tell you, I've seen a lot of movies, and it is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
It's-
on the list.
I mean, dude,
let me
it's-
tell you something. The final battle scene in
Oh
that movie.
gosh. It's one long extended murderous scene is what it is. It's
just
crazy.
Exploding balloons of pig's blood
It's crazy.
everywhere.
It's crazy.
I
All
love
right,
it.
sorry.
All right,
It's-
Donnie.
it's
How
great.
would
I
you
love
rate First Blood?
it. I'm gonna rate First Blood 3 dead Dobermans. 3 dead Dobermans.
Which, I mean,
Babies.
to be fair, is all of the Dobermans. That's a perfect score.
Yep.
So that's,
3 dead Dobermans.
that's
I like
good.
this movie.
That's
I enjoyed
good.
it tremendously. I think Chris is an insane person, but whatever. We all have our opinions.
Listen, this is episode 13. If you are listening to this episode and have listened from the beginning and do not already think that I'm a crazy person, then this episode is not going to help you. So that is our show. We appreciate you sticking around and listening. We, that's our take on First Blood. I think after the conversation, I think we may need to watch the other movies and then kind of have like a Rambo recap at some point and talk about the rest of them. Now I'm interested. Game. I'm interested to watch them now. So, but that's it, guys. That is episode 13. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Adios.
I'm rolling with my hair like this, so that's just how it's gonna be.
Your hair is incredible.
This is my Rambo. This is my Rambo hair.
Something.